Welcome to the Human-istic RESOURCES Show. I'm Denise O'Malley, your host for this episode. We're going to be talking about the power of HR coaching. You're not going to want to miss this one. Happy Tuesday, everyone. We are in the fall, the autumn. The air is getting crisp. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. We know that at this time of year, you're probably really, really busy. A lot of employee benefit enrollment meetings are taking place. You're doing your year-end planning. We understand. So we hope that you're able to spend a little bit of time. We're grateful for you for taking a little bit of time to come and watch this show that has been designed especially for you. And today we're going to be talking about the power of unlocking the power of HR coaching. How does it help you elevate talent for business growth? And I have the perfect person to discuss this with today, and you may know her yourself. I'm going to go ahead and bring her up to the stage. I have Tonya Wemhoff with Wemhoff Consulting. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, yay. I hate it when I get a name wrong. Tonya, it's so great to have you with me today. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to step forward and share your expertise today.
Well, I'm excited to be here because I really love what you're doing with wellness and that, because it's so important right now. It's really a key.
It is. And, you know, one of the things that we're talking about all the time is when we say wellness in the workplace, and everybody thinks of physical fitness and nutrition and financial and mental health and things like that. And that's all really important, but we know it's the whole body. And that means all the things that are dealing with anything having to do with an employee. And our goal is to support those who are supporting the people, the human resource professionals. So, you know, that's a good segue right there into HR coaching and your background. So share with me a little bit. How did you become an expert in this area?
Maybe the School of Hard Knocks somewhat. I started, I'm a baby boomer. Okay. So I've been around a little bit. So I started out with getting my master's of arts in teaching. I have a concentration in reading. So I taught 7.5 years. And when you know it, my ex-husband moved me to Nebraska, and I couldn't get a teaching job. But there was a huge need. I'm in the middle of Nebraska, right? So I was in a town with a lot of manufacturing. So what I realized was they really had peaks and valleys, because it's really based on a lot of ag businesses. Mm-hmm. So you have peaks and valleys. So I opened a staffing firm in 1993 because, I love the excitement when a child learns, their eyes get big. Oh, I get it. And for me, coming into this staffing world, my gosh, you would not believe there are manufacturers that build pickle car machines from the ground up, just one person. There's businesses that just make hurdles for schools and that. I mean, it really drove my passion. And what I've realized about myself is I'm curious. Okay. I love to find out. And through my experience finding out, okay, what does this person want to do? What are their goals in life? What job do they want? And then learning all this culture and the dynamics of, small and large business, it was a perfect fit for me. And I did it for 25 years. Got my CSP from the American Staffing Association for Employment Law. So I just really loved it. But then, one of your huge topics right now that I've seen off and on is burnout, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, I hit the wall. In 2017, I was totally burnt out. I was exhausted. And so I sold my business in 2017, and I'm sitting around, I got bored. And so I had
that happens. We talked about that off the camera.
So here I am, I'm in my in my phone, I'm doing book clubs and that. but I lost my spark, that curiousness, that fun part, right?
Yeah.
And so then a friend of mine who's a business coach, she's actually same age as my son. She needed someone with HR experience to answer the questions she just couldn't answer. So she brought me in kicking and screaming at first, right? So I start my business on December 2019, and then what happens in 2020?
Bad timing. Bad timing. Oh my gosh.
COVID. So I took a Tony Robbins course. I learned Zoom. I learned, all those technical things that, it's a challenge sometimes to have a phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I got started into it. And I've gone right now. I have two coaches, one in Cognac, France, and one in South Africa. And the thing I've really learned is I want to encourage people. I want to support them. And I've learned even I need a coach to be a coach.
Well, this is a soapbox I stand on all the time. That especially, I work with so many entrepreneurs, and especially in the world of health and wellness. And sorry, I keep getting distracted by my background. My virtual background is wigging out of me today. Anyways, I work with all these people who are coaches, and they think that they don't need a coach. And I'm like, well, okay, I think Tiger Woods is a pretty good golfer, particularly in his prime. You think he didn't have a coach? Just because you know the game, your expertise, doesn't mean that you can't get course corrections from other people. That other people can perhaps see that your swing is a little bit off, so that you just need that guidance through it. So that's what an HR coach does, right? Is to help people, not to come in and just say, "Oh, you're doing everything wrong." It's like, let me see what you're doing, and let's see where we need to make some course corrections.
That is so very true. I mean, a person that comes into HR is usually excited. They want to get in there. They want to make a difference. They want to take these employees and make them successful, help them have that positive experience. But the first thing that happens is life, right? You end up pushing paper. So it's my job, just like you said, to give them the support, but also to tell them what they're doing right. Because there's so many times that they don't realize what they're doing right. And so I do have, my coaches encouraged me. I have a paid WhatsApp group. And basically what it is a group of HR professionals or just somebody that has some HR duties, okay? And they tell me what topic they want me to cover. So I give them some options, some ideas that they can look at and then adapt in their own way. And plus they jump on and ask questions between each other. And the knowledge is so cool, because when they start asking questions and answering, they're building each other up at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really fun to watch. Right now we're working on performance reviews, which are, huge.
Those year-end things that have to be done, right?
Well, I like to do them at least quarterly. And
of course.
And I figured you'd go along with that too. So because I hated it, because you only remember the last 6 weeks. Right? But it's, and the workplace is changing so much. It's hard, they're struggling with recruiting and hiring, right? Well, for every 4 baby boomers that leave the workplace, there's only one to replace them.
I hadn't heard that statistic.
Yes.
I mean, intuitively, I know you're absolutely correct on that, but wow. So that's contributing to some of the labor shortage that's going on right now.
Exactly. And then in 2030, 54% of our workforce is going to be people of culture, right? So we're not just dealing with generational differences, which is a huge struggle in itself. We're also going to be dealing with culture. we have to find a way to bring everybody together. I have this thing I call the Wemhoff employee engagement triangle, which is if you have these three things in place and you judge what your positive procedures are, it's empathy. The employees have to be feeling that they're heard, that they understand that we understand where they're coming from. Number two is connection. They got to feel connected, whether it's to the purpose, to the values, to each other, and they have to have that. And then communication has to be clear and frequent. And that means we can't and I probably was among the group of owners that, I figured things could be learned by osmosis. I didn't realize I really had to say, okay, yes, this is our goal, but this is why, and this is where we want to head on down the line, right?
So this begs the question to me. I love the triangle, absolutely. And I think that it's great pillars, but I see a lot of intellect out there and not as much application of the intellect. So how do you step in and somebody can say, let's say an HR professional is looking at this going, yeah, this all makes sense. How do you take the first step? How do you move towards this model?
The first step on empathy is listening. And, I can't tell you how many times when I sat down with not even just an employee, even a friend or something, and I'm trying to think of my answer before they get their question, their statement up, right?
Right.
Well, you can't be listening if I'm trying to come up with the answer. So you have to go through some listening skills and really look at that. Our life lenses, okay? I'm a baby boomer. Me as a baby boomer talking to another baby boomer, our life experiences are totally different. How I would look at things is different than what they would look at it. So we need to, maybe repeat some of the phrases to make sure we understand, ask clarifying questions. So that's the first step, because in the process, you're giving them the opportunity then to share and be heard.
So this is something where an HR coach is really important to come in and guide the staff through it, because it can't be one person who's doing all this. I mean, it's got to be part of the culture. It needs to get integrated into the organization. So that's one of the ways that an HR coach can come in and help guide through this process, educate, demonstrate, course correct where necessary, and provide feedback.
Right. And you can extend that into weekly check-ins or bi-weekly check-ins with your staff as a manager to really find out, and it doesn't have to be a lengthy thing. It can be 3 to 5 minutes. How are you doing? Do you have any struggles? Can I help? And that helps that connectivity too, that bond that you want, where people will come together. So it's really important.
So this is the stupid question of the day.
No,
I mean, to me, it's so obvious, but I think it bears saying it out loud. What's the benefit to a company to bringing in somebody to help, bringing in an HR coach to help with this change?
The benefit is you have somebody that's objecting, somebody that is not, because when you're in a situation, you can't always see what's going on. And a lot of times it's easier to learn something from somebody that's not a part of the company than necessarily from your managers and that. And you feel more open to ask questions. That's one benefit. Another benefit is, when you're a small business, let's say you have 10 or 15 people, you can't afford that, $45,000 to $65,000 employee with benefits and everything else, which would be your HR person. I can come in for a few hours, or any HR coach, if we have what you need, which I don't like templates per se. I want to find out what end result. What do you want to see as the end product? And then work backwards. So it's a lot cheaper to pay me for 3 to 5 hours a week
Mm-hmm.
than it would be to hire someone. So those are the two best benefits.
Well, I'm so glad that you said it the way that you said it, because you're actually very much in alignment with me. I mean, in the world of workplace wellness, I'm always asked by employers, well, what's the return on investment that I can expect? And I hate that question because I can't answer it. There's statistics out there, but some of them are fraudulent. So, I mean, and they're not even that company's numbers. So I'm always saying the same thing. I phrase it a little bit different. I say, let's play, let's pretend. Let's pretend that we're a year down the road.
I like that.
What would you need to have seen, heard, or felt, or experienced in order to know that a decision today to go forward with me was the right decision? That now then gives me their pain points and their action points. And you're doing the same thing in a different way by saying, what is the result that we're wanting to have out of here? Is it reducing turnover because there's better communication and employees feel that they're being listened to and there's empathy there and all these other things? Or, what is it?
Right.
Yeah, we need to dial into that. And that sounds like it's exactly what you're doing. Kudos to you for that.
Oh yeah, it's the only way. And that's why even in my HR group, I don't want to present information or give them options if it's not anything they want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 members that are really struggling with the performance and the others are jumping in. And it just really makes a difference. So I just basically lay out, because the other thing, okay, if we take the performance review, okay, you design a format, that's not the end, what you're going to end up with. You have to think about, okay, the managers have to know how to use it. They have to be able to get the information they want. So you have to start there and train them, which comes into your implementation part, which I'm trying to, which we've been talking about in the group. And then after you train the managers and they get all their questions out and you get everything laid out the way you want it, then you have to come back together afterwards because nothing ever goes smooth.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be a glitch.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsor. We'll be back in about 1:24. But when we come back, what I'd like to ask you, I'll plant the seed now so you can be thinking about it in this 1:24, is what is one tip that you have to give today to somebody who's in a human resources professional role? So we'll be back in 1:24, guys. Get ready to step up your employee wellness game with Dimensions, an employee wellness benefit plan proudly brought to you by the amazing team at Define Wellness. Say goodbye to the dull and the ordinary menu of employee wellness options because we're breaking free from that one-size-fits-all nonsense and giving employees a wellness plan that's as unique as their fingerprints. With education about different paths to well-being, setting a game plan with accountability and support, and helping employees select vetted professionals from our network representing over 130 well-being modalities. But hey, we've got something extra special for you. No more paying for benefits employees won't use with our return of unused services policy. No one else does this. Ready to level up your company's wellness game? Here's the deal. Click that snazzy QR code on your screen and let's get talking about the benefit plan employees will actually thank you for. So don't wait another second. Let's up-level your wellness goals and create a culture where everyone thrives. With Dimensions, an employee wellness benefit plan by Define Wellness, we help employees discover new dimensions in their lives. All right, we're back. So before the quick commercial there, I asked you to come up with one tip that you could share with somebody who's a human resource professional today that maybe they can implement immediately.
One tip is that, one of the keys to actually creating an innovative culture and creative environment and all the other 3 things that I talked about, engagement, is how we deal with failure. It kind of scares me right now because we're giving all our kids medals, right? So if something goes wrong, they don't know how to accept it. And that's one problem. The second problem is if we can find a way for getting our employees to look at failure as a way to, okay, what did I learn? What went right? What course change can I make to then do it differently? Especially the lines of goals. They have goals they have to reach, right? Well, if they're not getting there, it could be that they're just recycling an old habits and that. So if we can open up that door to failure, so it's not the big black hole, it's not the bad guy, and really, lean into it. Just like in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's a pyramid. Bottom one is physical needs. The second one is psychological needs. If they can accept failure, they're going to be more open. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to say, yeah, but what you want, because you want to get all those buts out before you move forward. So I think, learning how to deal with that and address it so that everybody feels comfortable and will actually gain from it.
I love that. Failure, I have a friend who says failure is not an option, and I disagree with it because I think failure is an option, and I've learned more from my failures, and Lord knows there have been a number of them, than I have ever learned from my successes. And so embracing that in the workplace is a positive thing. And I was thankfully worked for people who said, okay, are you going to ever make that mistake again? Okay, let's look forward. So good suggestion. So Tonya, tell me, how do you help employers? Tell me about how you work with an employer.
Basically, similar to what I slightly mentioned before, I let the employers know I'm there. I don't, like I said before, I don't like templates. So you're absolutely right. I reach out, find out, okay, what is it you want? Then I create what they want. And then we go forward back, I have one gentleman that has a new manager. Okay. He's never managed before. And so he's nervous. And so I'm sitting down with the client tomorrow, and he's going to tell me the things that he has as strengths that he does well, and things that he thinks may not be directly helping him. So we're going to put together a plan, and then I'm going to work one-on-one with him. In some cases, I've had clients where I've worked as a group with emotional culture, actually talking about what feelings they need to feel in order to be successful in the workplace, or what feelings they don't want to feel to be successful in the workplace. So, I work one-on-one with clients. I do presentations. I'm doing one for a group of entrepreneurs and educators in November. So I do presentations, but I work one-on-one, I work in groups, and I do what I have found that probably 3/4 of my WhatsApp group, my paid group, are HR professionals of one, because you can't go to your boss. Your boss doesn't know the answer. Yeah, they belong to, the associations, and that helps. But in this atmosphere, I can give them my experience plus help them.
I think it's fabulous. I just put your email address and
fantastic. Thank you.
Comment box. So you guys, if you're watching this on a replay, just freeze it. You got that pause button. Write it down real quick and reach out to her if you think that she can help you with your business. So Tonya, getting towards the end of this now. So I'm sure as you were thinking about what we're going to chat about today, that you had some things in your mind that you really wanted to rattle off. Was there anything that we have not yet covered that you want to make sure that we do?
Not really. I really have a passion, and that's why I got bored, I realized. I really like helping businesses and individuals, to really, I want them to be successful. And I've had 2 people actually get new jobs or promoted, which is great. I don't think they anticipated that, but I think it's not so much me as the confidence that they gain.
Yeah, I love that. That's so powerful. Oh, there's so many other things that I know that we could talk about. We'll have to bring you back on it. But I just love what we've shared here today. And that is, there's just minor course corrections in some places, having an outsider come in, be able to look at it from an outside view as to things that perhaps aren't working the way you want. If you're sitting there in your business and you're thinking, something's just not quite right, we need to have that help. You need to reach out to an HR coach, and Tonya's one that you can absolutely reach out to. So Tonya, thank you very much for being with me here today. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed our interactions for it's about 2 years now, I think, that I've been following along with what you've been doing on Facebook and enjoying your expertise. And so I appreciate you sharing it with us here today.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Okay, guys. So another great conversation that we had, and that's our mission, is to bring to you the conversations that you're perhaps not getting anywhere else. So join us almost every single Tuesday for the HUMAN-istic RESOURCES Show, and we hope to see you next week as well. Have a good one.